Hello, and welcome to the Mercian Pilgrim. Today, I'm at Kinver, a little impromptu, but it's autumn, and it's a nice day for a walk. I'm going to talk a little about folklore and a little about the history of Kinver. Join me as I have a walk around Kinver. This was a beautiful autumn day in Kinver. Kinver is a beautiful area in the West Midlands, or in what was formerly Mercia, and I would say still is Mercia. It's a beauty spot that is locally famous, and many people come from all over the area to enjoy the beauty and enjoy the peace. In this time of year, of course, there are mushrooms everywhere, and what can be seen here is a great example of a fly agaric. In fact, the part you can see is only part of the whole thing, and there's a very great deal to be said about that really is too detailed for this video. Kinver was once known as Kinver and was an important borough and market town. It was in the forest of Kinver, which used to include a number of local places. For example, nearby Hagley was part of it until 1302, when Hagley was disafforested from the forest of Kinver. Kinver eventually ceased to be a market town, and the market house was demolished. It became known for the making of woolen cloth and forged metal goods. It's also said to have had the first rolling and slitting mill in England. Since Edwardian times, Kinver has been a popular destination for tourists. There was an electric tramway, the Kinver Light Railway, which connected Kinver to the Birmingham tram system. Kinver is known for its rock houses, its holy well, its hill fort, and it had a stone, the Bolt Stone or Battle Stone, which was connected to local folklore. The hill fort at Kinver is a univalate hill fort, which is an unusual type for this part of the country. The hill fort also has defence earthworks only on the southeastern and southwestern sides, and that's because it's in a naturally defended spot because of the landscape. Walking into this area, it was so easy, so obvious why people would choose to bring their gods, their spirits, out here. Why they would choose places like this majestic grove for worship. Kinver, of course, has more than its share of folklore, and there is one particular story that I'd like to relate today. Once upon a time, the Holy Austin Rock was home to a pair of giants, a husband and his wife. This couple had dug themselves caves in the sandstone, which they lived in, and each day the husband would go to a nearby spring to fetch water for them. This took time, as the spring wasn't a very large one, and giants need a lot of water. His wife was very beautiful, and in time she caught the eye of another giant. This giant lived at Enville. The Enville giant took advantage of the husband's absence to visit the giantess. He would quickly cross over to Kinver, making giant strides, and he'd visit the cave and kiss the Kinver giant's wife. Then he'd be gone, long before her husband returned. One day he was a little too slow. The Kinver giant returned and saw him. In a fury, the husband rushed to the top of the Holy Austin Rock, the earth shaking under his feet, and with his bare hands he lifted a huge block from the very top of the rock itself. The Enville giant was now fleeing from his anger, and in a rage the Kinver giant hurled the stone at the retreating Enville giant. Luckily for the Enville giant, the deadly missile went wide of the mark, and fell upright in the earth, where for many centuries it stood, and was called the battle stone, or the bolt stone. It's a great tale, but in my view, the stone likely got there naturally, perhaps during the last ice age. So, what did the battle stone look like? It's described as being about 6 feet high and about 12 around, described in more detail as being of a square figure, tapering a little towards the top and having 2 clefts in the top so that at a distance it appears like a triceps. No matter how it got there, eventually the field's owner needed to remove it, and in 1848 the battle stone was destroyed using gunpowder. The rock houses at Kinver are built into the rock. Rooms and passages were dug out, and in some cases brick buildings were added onto the front. Today, some of them have been restored, but sadly, vandalism and erosion have taken their toll in other areas, and some of these former houses aren't safe to explore. The rock houses at Kinver were the last known occupied ones in England, and are believed to have been lived in for at least 200 years, until about the 1960s. The empty rock houses fell into disrepair, were used for parties, or were used as storage buildings. Eventually, the National Trust took the houses on and restored some of them at the Holy Austin Rock. They were able to recover most of the original contents and did an amazing job of restoring the houses there to their former state. If you go to hike Kinver, the restored houses at Holy Austin Rock are well worth a visit. The first detailed description of the rock houses is from 1777, and it's known that the Holy Austin Rock was used as a hermitage until the time of the Reformation. The earliest recorded inhabitant of the rock houses was a woman called Margaret of the Foxearth, who died on 8th June 1617. She lived in Nanny's Rock, which is shown in this video, and she's recorded in the burial records of the parish church. The rock known as Nanny's Rock got its name from an inhabitant who lived there and practiced herbalism and potion making. One day, though, Nanny disappeared, never to be seen again. By trade, though, most of the residents were either agricultural workers or forge workers, and in 1851 it's known that there were 12 families living in the rock houses. The last resident of the rock houses lived at Vales Rock until 1955, and is known to have made besom brooms from locally sourced birch twigs. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.